I have created a British Super League in Football Manager, featuring clubs from all 4 countries of the United Kingdom, and simulated 50 years into the future to see who truly is the biggest club in Britain. Hey, how's it going, and welcome to this Football Manager experiment video where I've created a British Super League featuring 42 teams from all 4 countries in the United Kingdom. So for this experiment video, I've actually converted the Scottish League pyramid to my British League pyramid here today, mainly because it's quite short, as I said, by the 42 teams there in 4 different leagues, but also there's no relegation from the 4th tier. So these 42 teams should be the 42 teams all throughout the 50 simulations I will do here. I felt like the English pyramid was too big to keep an eye on all the teams that are going on there, and I just felt like the Scottish League system would be much more easier to keep a track of things here. So we've got 34 teams from the English leagues, which is quite understandable. The Premier League, of course, is well, arguably the biggest league in the world, definitely the biggest of the 4 nations in the United Kingdom. We've also got, though, 5 teams from Scotland, 2 from Wales, and just 1 solitary team from Northern Ireland. Also, we've got 4 leagues on show here. We've got the British Super League, the British First League, Second League, and Third League. The whole league system here is sorted by the club's reputation. The only team that made the list, although they should have done because of the reputation, are Linfield, from Northern Ireland. Only a 2-star rated team. They are the biggest team from Northern Ireland. I decided, though, that I had to include a Northern Irish team in the video here today. So apart from Linfield, every other team are in their correct league in terms of their reputation. So let's get back to the British Super League first of all. This is the main league, of course, which has taken over the Cinch Championship, and I think most of you will be pretty aware of what teams will be in this league. We've got the big teams from England, such as Arsenal. We've got Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, Man United, Tottenham, Newcastle, of course, in here as well. We've also got Aston Villa, Brighton, and West Ham who make the league here, but also 2 Scottish teams, and pretty obvious what teams have made it into the British Super League at the start here. That is Celtic and Rangers, of course. So 10 English teams and 2 Scottish teams in the Super League for now, but that, of course, is only for now, going 50 years into the future. So hopefully many things will change, but logically it should be an English team on top at the end of the video, but who knows what team it could be. But also there could be a big surprise. Celtic might dominate the league for a few seasons, and also a Welsh team might spring up a few surprises or 2. So in the Super League, first of all, we've got 10 English teams and 2 Scottish teams. It should be very hard for the Scottish teams to do anything in this season, and you're looking towards Man City, Liverpool or Arsenal to win the first Super League title. Anyway, in terms of the British First League, a little bit boring this one because all 10 teams are English. Such teams such as Everton, Crystal Palace, Leeds, Leicester, Wolves, etc. into the British Second League, and we actually get our first Welsh team in the Second League, and that is Swansea, who are rated higher than Cardiff in terms of reputation these days, apparently. Sorry, Cardiff fans, but Swansea are apparently the biggest team in Wales. They feature in the Second League along with 9 English teams. In the Third League, though, that is where it gets very interesting. We've actually got 3 Scottish teams in here: Aberdeen, Hearts and Hibernian. We've also got the other Welsh team, Cardiff, and Linfield in the Third League as well, along with 5 English teams: Bristol City, Coventry, Ipswich, Sheffield Wednesday and Stoke. Also have converted the Scottish Cups to British Cups as well, of course. We've got the British FA Cup, the British League Cup, and we've also actually got the British Mini Cup. I know it's a bit of a stupid name, the Mini Cup, but I couldn't really think of another name to call it. It's sort of like the Johnston's Paint Trophy, or whatever that competition is called these days. I always forget, but you know what competition I mean, for teams who are in the 3rd tier and below. I'm pretty sure that's what features in the British Mini Cup as well. So of course we'll be focusing on the Super League, the League Cup and the FA Cup. The British FA Cup, of course, but of course we keep a little bit of an eye on the other leagues as well, see how the Welsh teams are doing, the Scottish teams, but hopefully some of these teams can make it into the British Super League after a certain period. Also, we're keeping an eye on the Champions League, Europa League, etc., and also how big the Super League will become. Anyway, as I said, going forward, 50 simulations into the future at 5 season intervals, so let's see who dominates the first 5 seasons. Well, 5 seasons into the video here, and there's only one team with a 5-star reputation, and that is Man City. And the next biggest team only have a 4-star reputation. So I think it's safe to say that Man City are surely on top in terms of the British Super League as of now. So a bit strange to see no other 4.5-star reputation teams at least. But we've got Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United, Newcastle, Tottenham and Chelsea all below Man City in terms of the reputation. So it hasn't changed much in that regard. I forgot to show you the list at the start of the video here, but it hasn't changed as of much in terms of the order of things here. Although teams such as Liverpool and Arsenal have definitely dropped down in their reputation. But if anything, Man City have improved theirs or kept it the same and are still a worldwide team. Celtic are still doing quite well up there with 3.5-star reputation. The next other English team is Cardiff, who are currently sitting in the British Second League with 2.5 stars. Rangers have fallen down quite a bit with only a 2.5-star reputation. And Hearts, Hibernian and Aberdeen are all got a 2-star reputation as well. So the other nations aren't doing too well right now, but Celtic are doing quite well, still in the Super League. But on top is Man City, according to the reputation. Well, Man City are certainly on top. They've won the last 4 British Super League titles, but Liverpool were actually the first winner of the competition in 2024, but since then it's been pure domination from Man City, winning 4 league titles in a row. Well, in terms of the British FA Cup, there's been 4 different winners of this competition so far. Brighton were actually the first winners of the FA Cup in 2024. Then a big surprise, Burnley winning it in 2025. Then Liverpool won it back-to-back in 26 and 27, so nice start for Liverpool as well. 1 league title and 2 FA Cups for them. And Man City have won the latest British FA Cup to cap off a double in the most recent season. Well, in the British League Cup, Man City won the first instalment of that in 2024. Liverpool won that in 2025 as well. Palace, a big surprise, then won it in 2026. And Arsenal have actually won the last 2 competitions in the British League Cup. Well, so far it's clear to say that Man City are on top in the video. Can't say we're all too surprised about that. 4 league titles for them, 1 FA Cup and 1 League Cup, 6 in total. But Liverpool not too far behind. Only 1 Super League for them, but 2 FA Cups and 1 League Cup for them as well. Have any teams won anything in Europe though? Man City has still got a 5-star reputation, so I wouldn't be too surprised if they have. Well, matter of fact, Man City have done very well for themselves in the last 5 seasons. They actually won the first 3 editions of the Champions League of the video, actually making it 4 in a row in the Champions League, which I'm pretty sure has never been done before. Real Madrid won it 3 in a row. Apologies to any Real Madrid fans. They won the Champions League 5 times in a row at the start of the competition back in the 50s and 60s there. So Man City won 4 in a row, though, got very close. He also made 5 finals in a row. They won the first 3 competitions of FootballManager here. And they also got to the final in 2027 as well, where they lost to PSG. And this season just gone is the first time Man City haven't featured in the Champions League final of the video. So I think it's safe to say that Man City are the biggest club in Britain at the moment, but still 45 seasons left to go. Well, in terms of the Europa League, we've had 2 different winners of that so far. Liverpool won it in the first season, so a great season from them, the Super League and Europa League. And Tottenham won the latest edition in 2028. Also, Man United got to the final, but they lost to Napoli in 2027. And in terms of the Conference League, well, Aston Villa lost the final in the first season to Lille, but then Arsenal and Tottenham have won that competition as well. So Arsenal and Tottenham have won some competitions. Tottenham won 2 European trophies. Arsenal have won a couple of League Cups and a Europa Conference League as well. But yet to see any competition wins for Chelsea, Newcastle or Man United. The first 5 seasons have been dominated by Man City. 4 Super League titles, but also 3 Champions Leagues to their name as well. Will they still be on top 10 seasons in? Well, 10 seasons in now, and Man City are still on top in terms of the reputation, still that 5-star reputation, but Liverpool climbed back up to a 4.5 star for them, so at least we're getting a team closer to Man City. And the next teams are Arsenal, Newcastle, Man United, Tottenham and Chelsea still with a 4-star reputation, so still hasn't changed much in terms of the biggest teams in Britain. Celtic are still doing nice up there though, with a 3.5-star reputation, still the biggest team out of England so far, Celtic. And the next biggest out of England are Rangers now, who are currently sitting in the second league in the 3rd tier of the British system here, with only a 2.5-star reputation. So, yeah, teams outside of England are not doing too well so far in the first 10 seasons here. Quite understandable, but hopefully we can get a surprise or 2 going forward in the video. Although saying that, Celtic are still doing quite well and still sitting in the top division. Well, I have to say I wasn't quite expecting this, but it's been an absolute pure domination here so far from Man City. They've actually won 9 Super League titles in a row. They failed to win the first league title, that going to Liverpool, but since then they have won every single league title. I hope this is not a repeat of the Yugoslavian Super League I made recently, because that was dominated by Red Star Belgrade. I think Man City have got more competition than they have, so I'm hoping this incredible run might come to an end eventually, but at the moment it's just pure domination from Man City. 9 league titles in a row for them. Also, the Super League has climbed up to 4th in terms of the biggest competition in Europe so far. As you can see, the Premier League has dropped down to 8th. So there are some terrible teams in the Premier League these days. I'm actually quite surprised to only see it 4th in terms of the biggest competitions in Europe out of 10 seasons, to be honest. I was hoping it might even be 1st at this point, but at least the league has climbed nicely to 4th, and hopefully it'll get to the first biggest, or hopefully it can get to the biggest league in Europe down the line. Well, the Super League has been dominated by Man City 9 in a row, and the FA Cup has been dominated by them as well, to be honest. They've actually won 5 of the last 6 FA Cups, which is quite incredible. Brentford stopping them in 2031, lifting their first piece of silverware, first major piece of silverware at least. And also the FA Cup, the British FA Cup, is officially the biggest cup competition in Europe, so that's nice to see. Hopefully the Super League can follow very soon. In terms of the League Cup, well, a little bit more of a variety here. Liverpool won it in 2029, followed by Tottenham in 2030. Man City won it twice in the last 3 seasons, though, in 2031 and 2033. And Man United have won their first competition in 2032 as well. Well, it seems like Man City like the Champions League in this video. It has to be said. They've won another 3 Champions Leagues in a row from 2029 to 2031, making it 6 for them in the video so far in the first 10 seasons. They didn't make the final the last 2 seasons though, but Man City absolutely dominating the Champions League at the moment. They've won 6 of the last 10 Champions League titles, which is which will be hard to beat, but come the end of the video, to be honest, I can't see any team winning 7 Champions Leagues and beating Man City's record so far here. So a pretty insane start from Man City in the video, it has to be said. In terms of the Europa League, well, Arsenal have won that, the only British team, to win that in the last 5 seasons, beating Frankfurt in the final. But Tottenham have got to the final twice, losing both times, and Newcastle lost in the final as well. Well, I was just about to mention Chelsea. They haven't seen anything from them so far, but they actually have won the Europa Conference League this season just gone. And also Celtic, the only non-English team so far to win a major competition. They won it in 2032, beating Millwall in the final. Seem to be one of the biggest English teams of all the English teams over in the British Super League now. Also, Brighton got to the final in 2029 as well, but nice to see Celtic represented here, winning a first piece of silverware in the Europa Conference League, and Chelsea doing something as well. If you actually look at the league table here of the British Super League, you've actually got 6 teams who have qualified for the Champions League for next season. I'm pretty sure Arsenal have qualified. They just won the Europa League, I believe I just saw there. So I don't think it's 6 teams who qualified directly for the Champions League, but I think it's 5, depending on the coefficients, of course. But 5 teams who qualify for the Champions League for only a 12-team league is quite insane. So yeah, we've got plenty of chances in Europe for our teams to do very well here in Britain. The good news is Celtic are still in the Super League. Rangers aren't doing too well, nor are the Welsh teams, and I haven't seen anything from Linfield yet either. But there's only really one team to mention so far, and that is Man City. They've won 9 Super Leagues in a row, 4 of the last 5 FA Cups, and they've also won 6 Champions Leagues in 10 seasons. So quite a start from Man City here in the video. Would it still be the same 15 seasons in? Well, 15 seasons in now, Man City are still on top, but only just, because Tottenham are their biggest rivals with a 5-star reputation now as well. Man City and Tottenham both with a 5-star reputation, but closely followed by Newcastle and Man United, who are also worldwide reputation, but only 4.5 stars. And also Liverpool with a 4.5-star reputation as well, but a continental rating. So yeah, the teams are growing their reputations now here in Scotland, which is representing the British Super League, of course. But Man City and Tottenham on top so far, followed by Newcastle, Man United and Liverpool. Also, Arsenal and Chelsea still up here with a 4-star reputation. Celtic still in the British Super League, still with a 3.5-star reputation, still doing well for them as well. The next biggest non-English team is Cardiff, who are currently sitting in the 2nd tier with a 2.5-star reputation. And Rangers are now only got a 2-star reputation now. So not much of a rivalry going on these days between Rangers and Celtic, seeing as Rangers have been absolutely useless so far. Well, the bad news is Man City made it to 12 Super League titles in a row. The good news, though, is they've finally been stopped. And they've been stopped by Tottenham. Tottenham have won the last 2 Super League titles in a row, finally bringing an end to that crazy Man City run where they won 12 league titles in a row. Liverpool won the first one, of course. Since then, it's been pure Man City domination, but Tottenham seem to be the team on top now, winning back-to-back Super League titles. Well, in terms of the British FA Cup, Tottenham have won the latest instalment of that as well in 2038. They also won it in 2034 as well. Newcastle won it in 2035. Maybe their first piece of silverware, Newcastle, actually. A little bit surprising. Brentford have won another cup. I'm pretty sure they won this before. So they won the FA Cup twice now, Brentford. So doing very well in this competition. And Man City won it as well in 2037. Again, I think for the 6th or 7th time for them. So that's quite a crazy record. But at the moment, it seems like Tottenham are the team who are on top. Well, they definitely are on top because they've actually won a domestic treble this season. They've won the league, the FA Cup and the League Cup. Tottenham. The year before that was won by Brighton. Man City won it again in 36. Tottenham again in 2035. And Newcastle in 2034 with their second cup win. Well, I have no idea what's going on in the Champions League, but Man City have won their third instalment of 3 Champions Leagues in a row. They won it in 35, 36 and 37. As you can see, they've won it 3 times in a row. 3 times. They've won it 9 times in the video so far in 15 seasons, which is just absolutely mind-boggling, to be honest. It's Real Madrid territory. It's better than Real Madrid territory. It's absolutely ridiculous. 3 Champions Leagues in a row, 3 different separate times. Well, you count 4 in a row. You count the one they won in real life, but purely the video alone, 3 times in a row, 3 times. Quite insane. They also got to 2 finals as well, by the way, losing to Inter in 34 and PSG in 27. Tottenham have got to a final as well. They actually lost to Man City in the 35 final, but they also won the Champions League this season, 2038. So what a season for Tottenham it's been in 2038. I think it's safe to say they're the biggest team in the world at the moment. They have won 4 competitions this season, a domestic treble and the Champions League. So Man City have won a bag full of trophies, absolutely ridiculous. But at the moment, just this season at least, Tottenham are definitely the team to beat. Well, in terms of the Europa League, we've got one more winner in that competition. That is Liverpool. They actually beat Celtic in the Europa League final this season. So what a final that must have been. Amazing final, Liverpool versus Celtic. But Liverpool came on top, unfortunately, for the Celtic fans. But Celtic are doing well. I'm impressed with them. I'm really impressed with them. Stayed in the Super League pretty much the entire time, I believe. And they've won a European competition and got to the Europa League final as well. Chelsea also got to the final in 2036. But unfortunately, they lost to Girona. Well, in terms of the Europa Conference League, unfortunately no team has won that in the last 5 years, but Chelsea got to the final in 2038. They lost to Standard, which is very disappointing. And also an English team has got to the final, but not featuring the British Super League. That is Preston. They lost in the final in 2035, so it seems like the Premier League are still producing some sort of decent teams, but nowhere near close to rivaling the British Super League. Though Tottenham have had an incredible season in the last year here, winning 4 trophies, Man City are still firmly out in top. They have won a ridiculous 31 trophies in just 15 seasons so far, so averaging just over 2 trophies a season, including 9 Champions Leagues and 12 Super League titles as well. So Man City are still dominating the video. In second place, though, is of course Tottenham, who have won 2 Super Leagues so far, I believe. They've also won 1 Champions League, a few other European trophies, and 3 or 4 League Cups and 1 FA Cup, I believe. So Tottenham are doing very well, and they are the team who are rivaling Man City at the moment, but Man City way out in front. 31 trophies for them, including 12 Super Leagues and 9 Champions Leagues. Will they still be dominating the Champions League 20 seasons in? Well, let's find out. Well, finally, Man City are not on top in the video here. They've still got a 5-star worldwide reputation, so they're still doing pretty well. But Tottenham are on top now, the top team on the reputation. That's nice to see. They did win the last 2 Super League titles before this 5 seasons have gone. Let's see if they've won any more. But also Man United with a 5-star reputation as well. Yet to see anything from them in the video. They won 1 FA Cup, I believe, or 1 League Cup. Newcastle with 4.5-star reputation as well, along with Liverpool as well. And then followed by Chelsea, Arsenal and Celtic, who have now got a 4-star reputation rating, which is very nice to see. But in terms of the top 8 teams, it hasn't really changed at all in the entire video so far. Only with the teams themselves, but no one has seemed to have broken into this top 8, which includes Celtic these days. The next biggest non-English team are still well, apart from Celtic, of course, are Cardiff, who are currently sitting in the British First League right now, a 3-star reputation. Rangers are in that league as well with 2.5 stars, as are Hearts as well. So definitely got some teams lingering below. All it takes is a season, get up into the Super League, a few good signings, there might be a big four. So hopefully one of those teams can do it. But first of all, it's nice to see Celtic still up there in the Super League and still making a very good account of themselves. Well, Man City dominated the Super League in the early stages, winning 12 league titles in a row. But the latest dominant force are Tottenham. They won 6 Super Leagues in a row after Man City won 12. Man City have won the latest competition, by the way, in 2043. But before that, Tottenham won 6 league titles in a row. So they're hunting down Man City as the biggest team in the video. Who predicted this? Who predicted that Man City would win 12 in a row, then Tottenham 6 in a row? Yeah, very strange. We've only had, well, apart from Liverpool, we've only had 2 winners of the competition so far. 12 for Man City, 13 for Man City, 6 for Tottenham, and just 1 for Liverpool. What on earth is going on with this video? But Tottenham have done very well for themselves over the last 7 seasons. Also, the British Super League is now officially the biggest league in Europe, overtaking the Liga, Bundesliga and the Serie A. So that is nice to see and probably warranted as well. Only a 12-team league, but it's producing some great teams here, it seems, including Man City and Tottenham especially, of course. Well, in terms of the FA Cup, Man United won that for the first time in 2039. Yet to win a Super League title, Man United, but they have won both cups so far in the video. Tottenham have won that twice in the last 5 years. Arsenal, another one who haven't won the Super League yet, but they have won both cups as well. And Liverpool are the only other team, along with Tottenham and Man City, to win every single domestic cup so far, albeit nowhere near as much as the other two. But Liverpool are still the 3rd biggest team of the video so far. In terms of the League Cup, well, Newcastle have won that in 2039, followed by Man City in 2040. Tottenham back-to-back in 41 and 42. And Man United have won that for the 2nd time in 2043. Well, in the Champions League, it's the first time that we haven't seen Man City win it in the last 5 seasons. They haven't won it at all in the last 5 years, which is very surprising to see. They've definitely fallen down a little bit, Man City. Still a massive club, still a 5-star reputation, and are the latest winners of the Super League, by the way. But not continuing their incredible Champions League record. Well, Man United are yet to win a Super League, but they've won everything else so far, it seems. They won the Champions League in 2042, beating PSG in the final. They're the only British team to win it in the last 5 seasons, so not doing too well in the Champions League the last 5 years. Man United to win it is a little bit of a surprise, since they have yet to win the Super League so far in the video. Well, in terms of the Europa League, Man United have won that as well. They beat Brighton in the 2039 final. Liverpool lost in the final to Frankfurt, in 41. And Arsenal have won that for the 2nd time, I believe. Yeah, for the 2nd time in 2042, beating Dortmund in the final. So, very interesting here. We've got Arsenal and Man United doing pretty well in the other competitions, but yet to win the Super League. Chelsea have been very quiet. So have Newcastle as well, although they have both chipped in with a couple of wins as well. Everyone in the top 8 of the reputation have won at least 1 trophy so far, which is nice to see, including Celtic, of course, who won the Europa Conference League. And talking of Celtic, they have won the Europa Conference League again, beating Olympiacos in the final in 2041. So Celtic have won 2 European trophies so far, both the Conference League, but they've also got to Europa League final as well. Well, 20 seasons deep now, and if you're counting UEFA Super Cups, which I will count, of course, it is a trophy. Man City have won 40 trophies in the first 20 seasons, including 13 Super Leagues and still 9 Champions Leagues as well. Tottenham are still in 2nd place. They've won 19 trophies now in 20 seasons, which is a very good record, it has to be said, including 6 Super League titles and I believe 1 Champions League title to their name as well. So they've still got a lot of work to do to catch up Man City in the video, and to be honest, it's hard to look past Man City or Tottenham being on top come the end of the 50 years here. We'll have to take something incredible from one of the other teams here to overtake these two, but Man City and Tottenham are dominating so far. They're the only teams to win the Super League since the first season, which Liverpool won it. Will there be any different winners 25 seasons in? Before we go any further with this video though, guys, please remember that if you do like this video, hit that like button for me. It's very important for the video's success. And also, if you like this video and want to see more videos like this, do hit that subscribe button as well. It would also really help me out, and much appreciated. So 25 seasons in, no real surprise to see Man City back on top, overleaping Tottenham. with a 5-star reputation, joined by their city rivals Man United, who are now the second biggest with a 5-star reputation. Have they won their first Super League title? Judging by the reputation, hopefully they have. Tottenham have fallen down a little bit in the last 5 seasons, has to be said. Down to the third biggest with 4.5 star, along with Newcastle, who are yet to win the Super League either. But we have a team who have actually cracked the top 8 of the video for the first time, and that is Wolves, who are now the 5th biggest team in Britain. A little bit surprised to see that, but Wolves are doing things here in the last 5 years. Arsenal, Liverpool, Celtic and Chelsea are all rated 4 stars as well. To be honest, I'm a little bit disappointed with Arsenal and Chelsea so far in the video as well. To see neither Arsenal, Chelsea, Newcastle or United win the Super League so far is pretty surprising. Also, Celtic are still the biggest non-English team, of course, in the Super League. That's still that 4-star reputation. The next biggest are still Cardiff, who are now in the Super League, though, by the way, with a 3-star reputation. Rangers still not doing much, has to be said. Hearts are still in the Hearts are in the second league now, and I can't even see Swansea on the list, to be honest. Also, interestingly enough, I don't quite understand the rules here, but Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth have both dropped out of the British Third League over recent seasons. And, well, I actually thought there was no relegation from the Third League in Scotland, but it seems like there are. It seems like you finish bottom of the league, you are relegated. So, yeah, that's quite interesting. I didn't actually thought that happened, to be honest. But, yeah, looking in the Third League, we've got some, we've got East Kilbride and Brecon, of course, who've just been relegated from the Scottish League system. But also got Norwich down here, along with Burnley as well. Aberdeen is still sitting down here in the Third League, so a little bit surprised with some of these teams, to be honest. Especially the likes of Norwich and Southampton. Should expect them to see at least in the Second League, to be honest. So they're struggling a little bit down there. Anyway, in terms of the Super League, I was hoping there might be a different win in the last 5 years, but unfortunately, there hasn't been. It's still just dominated by Man City and Tottenham. The last 5 years, though, especially by Man City, they've now won 5 of the last 6 Super League titles again. I don't think any team's beaten Man City in the video. It's virtually impossible from this point unless Tottenham go on an absolutely ridiculous streak. So Man City seem to be the biggest team in Britain with 25 seasons left to go. Tottenham won another one though in 2046, but Man City won 3 in a row before that, and they've won 2 in a row at the moment after that as well. Well, in terms of the FA Cup, that's been dominated by Man City as well. They've won 3 in a row in the FA Cup and 4 of the last 5 seasons as well. And Man United won it again in 2045. Still yet to win the Super League though, along with many other teams, to be honest. Man City, Tottenham and Liverpool, the only 3 teams to have won the Super League 25 seasons deep. Very strange. Well, in terms of the League Cup, nice to see that Celtic have won the first domestic trophy of the video. They've won 2 Europa Conference Leagues, of course, but they've also won the British League Cup. So I think it's safe to say that Celtic are by far the best team of the non-English teams here in the British Super League. So I'm hoping for another one of those teams to step up. There's still 25 seasons to go, so we might still see Rangers, maybe Swansea, Cardiff, even Linfield do something spectacular in the video. Man United have won this competition again, back-to-back, actually in 43 and 44. Tottenham won it back-to-back as well in 46 and 47. And the latest winners are actually Man City in 48. So this season, Man City are on a domestic treble. Have they won a Champions League, though, in the last 5 seasons? Well, not quite as convincing as recent seasons, but they have won the Champions League. They won it in 2047, beating Man United in the final. So what an affair that must have been. Talking to Man United, they've actually lost 3 of the last 5 Champions League finals, which is absolutely devastating. Thankfully, they won it in 2042, but since then, they played it 3 more times against 3 different teams, and it's all the same result as well. So, Man United are doing very well, it has to be said. They've been in, 5 Champions League finals so far, I believe, or 4 Champions League finals, winning one of them, but they're yet to win the Super League, which is very, very strange. Won everything else, but not the Super League. Man City have won their 10th Champions League of the video so far, by the way, but considering they're at 9 after 15 seasons, to only win 1 of the last 10, little bit disappointing from their standards. In terms of the Europa League, well, Arsenal have won that for the 3rd time now, beating Lyon in the final. Tottenham have won that as well, beating AC Milan in the final as well. So both those teams have won it. Arsenal doing very well in the Europa League, but it seems like that's at level at the moment. They're not really going any higher than that or competing for the Super League title, which again is quite strange, really. And in terms of the Europa Conference League, well, Wolves won that in 2044, so their first European trophy, and Liverpool won that in 2045 as well. But I think it's safe to say that Man City are still firmly on top. Tottenham are in 2nd place still, but can we see another dominant force emerge through the video here? Let's find out. Well, 30 seasons deep now, no surprise to see who's on top of the video. It's still Man City and Tottenham, both with a 5-star reputation, followed by Man United, Newcastle, Arsenal and Wolves, who've all got a 4.5-star reputation. So Wolves have broken that top 8 and they seem to be down here for the long haul at the moment. But also Fulham have broken into this little top 8 period here as well with a 4-star reputation. Interesting, Wolves and Fulham are the two teams who are starting to climb the pyramid, it seems. Also, Celtic are still in the Super League, only with a 3.5-star reputation now. But look at this. Interesting battle here for the biggest non-English teams. Celtic, Cardiff and Rangers. All there, all in the Super League as well. All with a 3.5-star reputation. So we might finally start seeing some changes here in the video. Wolves and Fulham have cracked that fantastic top 8 we've seen so far. And now Cardiff and Rangers are rivaling Celtic as the biggest non-English team of the video. Oh, this is getting stupid now though. In terms of the Super League, well, the last 5 years it's been won by Man City or Tottenham. So that basically means in the last 29 editions of the 30 British Super Leagues, it's either been won by Man City or Tottenham. No one else has won it apart from Liverpool in the first ever season. So yeah, very, very strange. I don't know what's happening here. Arsenal, Man United, what are you doing? Liverpool, what are you doing as well? Chelsea, where on earth have they been? Man City won it again for 5 years in a row. Not quite as good as their 12 seasons in a row. Tottenham broke their duck again in 2052. And Man City have won it again in 2053. So Man City have actually won 21 of the first 30 Super League titles. Tottenham have won 8 and Liverpool have won 1. Well, in terms of the FA Cup, Man City haven't won any of them in the last 5 years, which is a little bit surprising. Tottenham have won 2 in 2049 and 53. Arsenal have won it again in 2050. Newcastle and Liverpool have won one of those as well. Wow. In terms of the League Cup, though, Man City actually won that 3 seasons in a row in 2051, 52 and 53. Tottenham won that in 2050 and Man United in 2049. Well, in terms of the Champions League, Man City's record continues to be poor. They haven't won it again in the last 5 years. Tottenham have, though. They won it in 2050, beating Barcelona in the final. They also lost the next year's final to Real Madrid. Newcastle lost the finals of Valencia in 2049. And Man United have lost another final to Bayern Munich in the latest season. But Tottenham are the only winner of the Champions League in the last 5 seasons. Well, in terms of the Europa League, it seems like Arsenal are a Europa League specialist. They've won their 5th Europa League. They won their 4th in 2050 and their 5th in 2052 as well. Newcastle won it in 2053, a year after losing to Arsenal in the final. And Wolves have won that in 2049 as well, beating Inter Milan in the final. In terms of the Europa Conference League, no one has won that in the last 5 seasons, unfortunately, but Wolves did reach that final as well. So Wolves seem to be a little bit of a European specialist these days. So have Arsenal, winning 5 Europa Leagues so far for Arsenal. But in terms of the video, you know what I was going to say. It's still well on top for Man City and a very strong second place for Tottenham as well. Will that still be the same 35 years in? Well, we're now 35 seasons deep into the Super League and we're seeing big changes. Neither Man City or Tottenham are on top in the video now because it is now Arsenal. Arsenal are now top in terms of the reputation rating, albeit along with Tottenham and Man City are all 5-star and all worldwide, but Arsenal are the top team in terms of the rating here. So nice to see someone different apart from those two on top, but they're followed closely by Man United and Fulham, who have both got a 4.5-star worldwide reputation. So Fulham have really climbed the leagues in the last 5 years and are a massive force in the leagues, it seems. But look at this. Just below Fulham are Wolves and Cardiff. Cardiff currently sitting with a 4-star reputation. Continental as well. They are now officially the biggest non-English team of the video. Celtic have fallen down to second biggest at the moment. Still in the Super League though, Celtic. But Cardiff, representing Wales, are now the biggest team out of the non-English teams. But Wolves and Fulham doing really well as well, overtaking the likes of Liverpool, Newcastle and Chelsea, who are falling down in terms of the reputation. And also Chelsea and Newcastle are both currently sitting in the British First League, so disgraceful from them. But what stories from Cardiff, Wolves and Fulham especially. And nice to see someone different on top in terms of the reputation. That is Arsenal. Have they won a Super League though, Arsenal? Or is it still dominated by Man City and Tottenham? Well, Arsenal may be top in terms of reputation, but I think it's safe to say that their local rivals Tottenham are on top in terms of Super League wins. They have won 5 in a row of the last 5 seasons. They've also won 6 of the last 7 as well. So this Man City and Tottenham domination just keeps flipping from one way to the other at the moment. And although Arsenal are on top in terms of the rep rating, Tottenham look to be the best team in the league. They've won 5 in a row over their City rivals as well. It must be quite tight between Tottenham and Man City between the Super League title wins now, to be honest. Of course, that now means that 34 of the last 35 league titles have been won by Man City or Tottenham. Will it ever change? Hopefully it will. Still 15 seasons left to go. Anyway, Liverpool have won one, of course, the solitary one in the first season. Strange to not see them win again, to be honest. Tottenham won it 6 in a row, quite incredibly, in that period there. They won 7th in 2046. They've also won 5 in a row now as well. So they've won 14 in total so far, Tottenham. But that means that Man City have still won 20. So they still won 6 more than Tottenham. But Tottenham are slowly closing their gap, it has to be said. And Tottenham may run out as the most successful club of the video at the end if they continue this form up. But with Man City, you never know. They could just go and win 12 Super Leagues in a row and no one will be surprised. Well, in terms of the FA Cup, that has been dominated by Arsenal. They have won 3 of the last 4 FA Cups. Still yet to win the Super League, of course, but they are the biggest team in the league now, apparently, or in the country. They won 3 FA Cups out of 4 years. Man United won that as well in 55, and Man City are the latest winners in 58. And in terms of the League Cup, that's been dominated by Tottenham as well. They've won 3 of the last 5. Man City have won 1. And Arsenal have won 1 as well. Well, I can see why Arsenal are rated as the biggest club in the country now in Britain. They have won 2 of the last 3 Champions League titles. They've been a massive force in the Europa League, Arsenal, winning 5 in that competition so far. But now they've taken it to the Champions League, winning 2 of the last 3 Champions League titles. Still yet to win the Super League, by the way, Arsenal, but they are winning everything else, which is nice to see. Man City lost the final to Real Madrid in between the 2 Arsenal wins. And before that, Man City won 2 in a row as well in 54 and 55. I think that makes it 12 Champions Leagues for Man City so far then. So still firmly on top, it has to be said. And Man City beat Tottenham in the 54 final as well. But in terms of the Super League, that's been dominated by Tottenham 5 years in a row. In terms of the Europa League, well, Cardiff won that in 2054, so it's now our first winner from Wales. They're now a 4-star reputation team, Cardiff, and they've won the Europa League, which is very, very nice to see. Nice to see another nation representing here in the Super League. Of course, we saw Celtic from Scotland doing very well, winning the Conference League twice, getting to the Europa League final as well. But now we're seeing Wales represented with Cardiff in the video. Also, Wolves won that as well in 2057, and Man United and Fulham have both lost the Europa League final recently as well. In terms of the Europa Conference League, well, Wolves have won that again for the 2nd time, I believe, or maybe the 3rd time. No, I think the 2nd time they won the Europa Conference League. Also, Liverpool have won that as well in 2056. But the last 5 years have been dominated by Tottenham, 5 in a row in the Super League for them. But Arsenal are now officially the biggest team of the nation, winning 2 of the last 3 Champions Leagues. Still yet to win a Super League, but out on top still with trophies won is, of course, Man City, who will still be very hard to beat coming to the video. What will happen in the next 5 years and after 40 years into the future? Well, 40 years now into the future, and Tottenham are now back on top in terms of the rep rating, but they're followed closely by Arsenal, so that strong rivalry is still continuing, of course, both with a 5-star worldwide reputation. Man City have dropped down to 4.5 stars for the first time in the video, and they are 4.5 stars along with Fulham, Wolves and Man United. So Fulham and Wolves have broken that top 8 in the video, and it seems like they're there to stay as well. Big forces in the league, Fulham and Wolves now, and hopefully someone has stopped Tottenham and Man City in terms of Super League wins. Cardiff as well are still doing very, very strong. They're still up there with a 4-star reputation. The next biggest non-English team, by the way, are Hearts these days, who are currently sitting in the Super League with a 3-star reputation. And Celtic have really fallen down now. They did very well, though, for the first 25-30 seasons of the video, maybe even 35 seasons, but now they're slowly declining, and they're sitting in the First League at the moment, whilst Rangers are currently sitting in the Super League. But by far the biggest non-English team now are Cardiff of Wales, and that is quite surprising to see, but what a successful rise from them. Well, thankfully, Tottenham and Man City have finally been stopped in terms of the Super League, and they have been stopped by 2 surprising teams. Fulham won the Super League in 2059, the first team to stop Man City and Tottenham in, 35 years? Or 34 years, which is ridiculous, but Fulham are the team to stop them in 59, and also Wolves have won the latest competition in 2063. Tottenham won it 3 years in a row, by the way. Between those two have won it, making it 8 out of 9 seasons for Tottenham. So they are slowly catching Man City, it has to be said. Well, Well, in terms of the FA Cup, talking to Man City, they won that last in 2063. Tottenham won it 2 more times in 59 and 62. And Fulham and Wolves both won that as well in the last 5 years. Fulham in 2061 and Wolves in 2060. Well, in terms of the British League Cup, Man City won that 2 out of 5 seasons. Arsenal won it 2 in a row in 61 and 62. And Liverpool won that in 2060. Well, Arsenal are not doing much in terms of the Super League, it has to be said, but they are rated 5-star, and I can see why. They're doing things in European football, that is for sure. Arsenal has now won 3 Champions League titles to go along with their 5 Europa League titles, so that is where Arsenal are doing mainly their business, like the Liverpool of old, pretty much here in the British Super League. But it would be nice to see Arsenal win that competition, or Man United, or New. You know what? It'd be nice to see Cardiff win it, to be honest. I'd love it if I saw Cardiff win the Super League. Nice to see Fulham and Wolves win it as well, but a little bit surprising to see them do it. Tottenham have also won the Champions League twice in the last 5 years, beating Saint Etienne in 59 and Real Madrid in 63. In terms of the Europa League, well, Fulham have won that, beating Juventus in the final, and Man City have won that as well in 2060. So seeing Man City in the Europa League, things haven't been going too well for them in the Super League, and Wolves have won that for the 3rd time, beating Roma in the final in 59. So Wolves a little bit of a European specialist as well, it seems, to go along with Arsenal. And in terms of the Europa Conference League, well, Liverpool won that as well in 2059. Although Wolves and Fulham have made an appearance in terms of winning trophies over the last few seasons, also Arsenal doing very well in European football. Man City and Tottenham are still on top in the video. Can we see another team win in the next 5 years? Can we see Arsenal win the Super League or Man United? Let's find out. Well, Man City are back on top in the video, back with a 5-star reputation. So their very tiny decline didn't last for too long. And they are followed by Tottenham, Arsenal and Wolves, who have all got a 5-star worldwide reputation. But also Cardiff, with a 4.5-star reputation now and worldwide. Have Cardiff managed to win a British Super League? I would absolutely love that if they did. A Welsh team stopping the English teams in the British Super League will be one hell of a story. Also, Fulham are still doing magnificent things with a 4.5-star reputation as well. So you look at the top 6 teams here. Man City on top is no surprise. Tottenham and Arsenal are the two following them. But then the next 3 are Wolves, Cardiff and Fulham. So yeah, the video has definitely taken a turn in the last 10-15 years, but makes it very interesting in my opinion. Man United and Liverpool both with a 4-star reputation, but not really great from them. Newcastle have fallen down to 3.5 stars. Chelsea all the way down as a 3-star reputation team, so they are not doing too well at all, to be honest. They seem to be firmly a British First League team these days, Chelsea. Celtic have made a little bit of a resurgence. Still in the First League though, but back to a 3.5-star reputation. But no one is rivaling Cardiff in terms of the biggest non-English team. They are just battering it in that regard at the moment, which is very surprising. Hearts still doing quite well. They're in the Super League still. Rangers are still lingering up here with a 3-star reputation. But Cardiff by far the biggest of the non-English teams. Absolutely flying at the moment, Cardiff. But Wolves and Fulham flying as well. Man United and Liverpool falling down. Has to be said, Chelsea nowhere to be seen in terms of the biggest teams in the British Super League. Well, in terms of the Super League, well, it has to be said, the new dominant force, well, I don't know if you can call them a dominant force, but the biggest team in the last 6 years have been Wolves. Wolves have won it 3 of the last 6 seasons, but also Arsenal have finally won the Super League for the first time in 2064. Took them long enough. They also won it in 2066 as well. So in this 5-year period here, it was won by either Wolves or Arsenal. Man City have put a stop to that in 2068, winning it for the first time in, 15 years for them, which is very, very surprising. But nice to see another new winner in Arsenal winning it twice for them. But now Wolves have made it 3 Super League titles. But in terms of the FA Cup, Wolves have won 2 of them as well, back-to-back in 64 and 65. Arsenal have won that in 66, and Tottenham and Fulham are the 2 latest winners as well. In terms of the League Cup, that has been dominated by Tottenham. They've won 3 of the last 4 League Cups. Man City won another one, and Arsenal won it as well in 2064. So it's a shame to see that Cardiff haven't won a domestic trophy so far. Still got 5 years to do it. Can Cardiff do it? Did Celtic win the League Cup? Am I making things up? No, I'm not making things up. They did win the League Cup. I do remember that. They beat Man United in 2045. So at least a non-English team has won a domestic trophy. Also, of course, Celtic have won a European trophy as well. 2 European trophies, I believe. But can Cardiff be the first and only Welsh team to win something on the video? That hopefully they can be. They might have won a European trophy. Let's go check it out. Well, in terms of the Champions League, Tottenham have won another one in 2065. Man City won it as well in 2067, beating Tottenham in the final. Well, in terms of the Europa League, Cardiff did get to the Europa League final where they lost to Schalke, unfortunately. So that's, very disappointing. But at least Cardiff got to the Europa League final. Quite crazy to say. Fulham as well won that in 2067 for the second time, I believe, beating Napoli in the final. In terms of the Europa Conference League, Fulham have won that as well in 2065, and Man United have won it in 2068, beating Hoffenheim in the final. So only 5 years left to go. Barring something ridiculous, I think Man City have won the video in terms of trophies won. Tottenham have done very well as well, Tottenham have done very well as well, of course. But I'd love to see Cardiff win a competition in the last 5 years here. We've obviously seen Celtic win something for Scotland, win 2 trophies for Scotland, actually. Celtic, 2 different trophies, shall I say. Yet to see anyone from Wales. We've got 5 more years to do it. Can Cardiff be that team? Can they win the Super League? Or can they win another trophy? Well, let's find out. Well, here we are now 50 years into the future, and the top teams are still Tottenham, Man City and Arsenal, all with a 5-star worldwide reputation, but closely followed by Wolves and Cardiff, both with 4.5-star worldwide reputation as well. Fulham falling down a little bit, but still a 4-star reputation team, as are Man United and Liverpool. Newcastle, 4-star reputation as well, and Hearts are the second biggest non-English team and the biggest Scottish team with a 3.5-star reputation. Celtic are in their first league, but again 3.5 stars. Coventry, first time we're seeing Coventry do anything on the video. Interesting from them. And Rangers are still up here as well. But yeah, Cardiff is still firmly the biggest Welsh team in the video, of course. Haven't seen anything from Swansea. Hearts are the biggest Scottish team as well. But Wolves are still up there in the top 4, who have been the latest winners of the Super League, though. Tottenham and Arsenal. Tottenham have won 4 of the last 5 Super League titles. So I'm interested to count up the Super League wins. Due to Man City dominating the Champions League early on and the FA Cup, etc. I think Man City have safely won the total trophies. But I think it's closer than we think in terms of the Super League trophies here, because Tottenham have been battering that in recent seasons. Arsenal won it for the 3rd time as well in 2017. So a little bit of a late flourish from Arsenal. Disappointing in the end for them in the video, but they did better than Man United, Liverpool, Newcastle and Chelsea, has to be said. Man United, Newcastle and Chelsea failed to win any Super League titles in the video. And Liverpool won the first ever season and nothing after that. So Arsenal definitely have something to cheer for at the end of the video here. But Tottenham, definitely the better team in North London of this video, has to be said. Well, let's actually count up the Super League wins here now. And let's see who have actually won the most in total. Is it Man City or is it Tottenham? Well, it's tight. It's very, very tight indeed. But Man City have come out on top in terms of Super League wins. They won 22, but followed closely by Tottenham, who won 20. So what a battle in the end between Tottenham and Man City. I think it's safe to say that Tottenham have been the better team in the last, at least 20 seasons. Man City have only won 1 league title in the last 20 seasons. So Tottenham made it very interesting. But Man City have won 22 Super Leagues and Tottenham 20. Arsenal have won 3 as well. Wolves have won 3, Fulham once, and Liverpool once. So Man City and Tottenham firmly on top in terms of Super League wins, has to be said. But in terms of the FA Cup, Tottenham have won that 3 of the last 4 years as well. Arsenal won another one in 2071, and Liverpool won it in 2069 as well. Well, in terms of the League Cup, that's been dominated by Wolves. They have won it 3 of the last 5 seasons, but Man City have also won it 2 of the last 3 seasons as well. Let's see if there's any more winners of the Champions League in the video here. There was, because Tottenham won that for 2 more times in 69 and 72, and Man City lost that twice in the final against Tottenham and Inter Milan back-to-back as well. In terms of wow, look at that. In terms of the Europa League, they failed to win a domestic trophy, but Cardiff won 2 Europa Leagues come end of the video in 2069 and 2071. So that is great to see. Not quite a domestic trophy what I was hoping for in Britain, but they have won a European trophy twice, Cardiff, beating Barcelona and Troy in the Europa League final. So that is great to see from the Welsh teams especially. Great of the video. So it's nice to see that at least 3 of the nations, of course we knew England was going to win some competitions, but Scotland and Wales have won competitions in the video as well, and big competitions, has to be said. Celtic and Cardiff doing the business for their respective nations, which is nice to see. And in terms of the Europa Conference League, well, Liverpool won that as well, and they've got to the final, and Lazio have lost in the final to Lazio not in Britain. Fulham, sorry, have lost the final as well in 2072 to RB Leipzig. Well, now I need to count up the competition wins in total for Tottenham and Man City. I think it's safe to say those two are in the top two. Interesting to see who'll be in third place as well. Well, in third place is actually very, very easy third place as well, which I'm actually quite surprised about. But Arsenal actually won 29 trophies out of the 50 seasons here. So Arsenal have fallen a little bit under the radar. They only won 3 Super League titles, Arsenal, but they did massive things in the Europa League, the League Cup, and the FA Cup as well. They also won 3 Champions Leagues, Arsenal. So Arsenal firmly in third place on the video with 29 trophy wins, including 3 Super Leagues and 3 Champions Leagues. In second place is Tottenham, who have won 63 trophies in total, including 20 Super Leagues and 7 Champions Leagues, I believe. But out in top are Man City, who have won 75 trophies in 50 seasons, including 22 league titles and how many Champions Leagues? And 13 Champions Leagues. So quite incredible for Man City, but it also has to be said, absolutely incredible from Tottenham as well. More realistic for Man City doing this, but Tottenham to win 63 trophies in 50 seasons is quite insane. Man City with 75. Those two were by far the 2 biggest of the video. But Arsenal with quite a little late surge, it has to be said. 29 trophies in total from them. Chelsea, Newcastle and Liverpool especially, very disappointing, along with Man United as well, of course. Only Liverpool, those 4 are the only other team to win the Super League, along with Fulham and Wolves, of course. But no Super League wins for Chelsea, Newcastle or Man United. Very disappointing from them. But what a story from Cardiff as well. Cardiff from Wales. The last 15 seasons went really, really good. They all won 2 Europa League titles in the end. Failed to win a domestic trophy, but if we continue this for a little bit longer, I'm sure Cardiff will win a domestic trophy. So absolutely incredible from them. 2 Europa League trophies for them. Also Celtic, well, the first half of the video at least did very well. 2 Europa Conference League wins and 1 League Cup win as well. So at the end of the video, what have we learned really here? Well, if we put a British Super League together, don't rule out the Scottish or Welsh teams, because over time they certainly can do something. But the English teams should realistically dominate. And from this video here today, it was dominated by both Man City and Tottenham. That is the end of this video, guys. If you do like this video, please remember to hit that like button for me. And also, if you're new around here, do hit that subscribe button as well. It really helped me out and it's much appreciated. Also, if you've got your own ideas for any other Super Leagues I can create, I've got my own ideas, of course, but I'd like to see your ideas as well. Let me know down in the comment section below. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you for the next one.